Okay, welcome to episode 2 of hashtag UDDSpec. This is a new series that I've started on my own channel for my own cars. Nothing to do with work, nothing to do with reviewing new cars. This is the passion project, okay? You guys said that I'm not putting enough videos. See, now we're putting out 2 videos on the Polo. There's more stuff that's coming, I promise you. Now, in the last video, you've seen me talk about the fact that we bought this car. We've talked about why we bought this car. I've explained UDDSpec to you, hashtag UDDSpec to you. I have also talked about, we did a performance run with the Draggy. We got performance figures, late 10s, early 11s on the 0 to 100 and 17 something on the quarter mile, if I'm not forgetting my figures. I hope I'm not. Anyways, then we did a dyno run and we got horsepower figures. All of that is in the first video. I'm not going to talk about it more. Go watch that video before you watch this because it makes sense to you once you do. Today, we're going to start with the mods. Mods.
Yeah, boy.
Are happening finally. Okay, so stock car. I'm going to just start lining up stuff. I'm not going to show you everything that we are doing yet because I want to build up a little bit of drama. That's what people do, right? I mean, if you watch TJ Hunt's videos, I love his stuff. Yes, he'll do a 45-minute video of everything in one shot. We're not going to do that. Right, so what do we start off with? We will start off with things that I love the most to do in a car for all cars, right? Wait a second. And this is what the video today is majorly about. This is all the good stuff we've got from Forge Motorsport in the UK. This is my intake. This is my blow-off valve to make Stu Stu noises. Something I've wanted for a long time. Something I really missed because my Octavia VRS had it. Don't have that car anymore. So I wanted Stu Stu noises back. So we got a blow-off valve. That's what we're doing today. And today, we're also doing something that I do on every single one of my cars, which is NGK Iridium plugs. Every one of my cars, doesn't matter which one, has the NGK plugs on it. So that goes there. We are also going to eventually do more stuff, but what I'm going to do today is just tease some of that stuff to you. I'm not going to unbox it. We'll unbox this in a bit, right? But what we'll do is show you the other stuff we're putting on. So, for example, let's talk about brakes, because brakes is something that I really love doing on every performance car that I own. It makes a huge difference, right? So we're doing, my older Polo had Brembos and EBC. This one is going to have really cool DBA, which is sort of nicely sort of ventilated. Really cool looking discs as well. And we're going to have DBA pads. Then we're going to do hell brake lines, which look so cool. And again, braided lines make a huge difference because when you are really driving hard, like coming down the expressway, going ham, for example, this stuff expands and then brakes become spongy. So this makes a huge difference. Obviously, we're going to do tires. So got a set of Michelins for the car because obviously when you're making big power, you need like really good tires. So Michelin PS5, I've got 4 of them. Let me put all 4 out. 1, 2, fresh, nice, new rubber. What goes with tires? Obviously a wheel. So I am going to reuse a wheel that I've had for a while. This was on the Polo Cup car that I drove many years ago. It was a gift from Volkswagen to me 5 years ago, 6 years ago. That's a forged ATS wheel. It's actually super light, like really light. So we're going to use that. There's a possibility we might swap to a different set of wheels, maybe later, not yet. I don't know yet. I'm trying to sort of figure that out. But for now, this. Oh yeah, the big stuff, the expensive stuff now comes into play, right? I'm going to just move this thoda behind. Heavy stuff now comes in. That's a new turbo. Stellar's made a bigger special turbo for this car. Stellar is a company that makes turbos in India, sort of imports parts, assembles turbos. I believe they're also the Garrett importer for India. If I want to do an aftermarket turbo, these are the guys to go to. So I've got that for my car. Big numbers. I don't care about numbers, frankly. I care more about usability. So I believe they've given me something with a lot more usability in sort of play as compared to just making 200 horsepower plus. I frankly don't care what horsepower figure I get. But this is going to be more immediate, less lag, and that's the plan with this. And then I'm doing something which I've never done on any of my cars. I'm getting a little breathless because those two boxes are heavy. This is part one. Don't fall. Got a set of Cobra coilovers. Not lowering springs, what everybody does. These are Cobra coilovers. I believe there are only like a couple of sets in the country. They are quite expensive. But I thought since we're doing a decent build with some really high quality parts, screw it, let's get some good stuff. I've done lowering springs on my E90, on the other Polo, on a Honda City in the past. This time I thought I'll go one step further. I've never done coilovers ever in anything that I own. This has coilovers in it. So stay tuned for all of these builds because this series is going to be quite cool. And again, with everything, I'm going to show you how you can build it, how you can make it better, and how to set it up, especially with this. So big, huge shout out to Cobra for getting them into the country. Despite there being a huge war that's happening everywhere and shipping routes all being chaotic, they managed to get this to India quickly. So thank you to them. But we'll unbox this on a later date. For now, let's unbox this box. Okay, so let's... That's a lot of stuff for what it's supposed to be. It's quite heavy. Let's unbox this. Let me show you what we've got from Forge. They've been rather gracious in their communications as well. Sitting down and doing this is so much more fun. Okay, how does this work? Okay. Right, we've got a bunch of paper from Forge. That's what we're installing in the car. Busa. Shit, look how long this is. Oh, dude, look at it. That's why they wanted... I've got a Forge, I'm guessing this is a Forge t-shirt and Forge t-shirt and hoodie. You want to keep it here. We've got... What is this? It's a cap. Oh, that's cool. Let's put this here. Stay. Goodbye. We've got some other stuff as well. Bottle opener. My wife will love this. She'll love it because this replaces the actual real taxidermied kangaroo balls on my fridge. Nice little keychain. This will probably go on the car. And a little lanyard. I used to be a huge fan of lanyards. I don't use them anymore. When I was in uni, I used to use them a lot. Okay. Now the real stuff. Nice. Look at the width of this intake. Damn, boy, he's thick. Nice, big, thick boy. Remember, boys and girls, girth always more important than length. Okay? We will put this. Let's put this here on the lap for now. This is, I believe, the blow-off valve. Now, slightly different shades, but okay, chalega. Red, red, red. Wait, let's actually, let's do this. Let's keep this here. I know what this is. Now, Forge for the longest time has used foam filters. I believe now they've moved on to filament filters like this. And I believe this is one of the first ones that have come here. This is like a lovely reusable filter. Foam, I believe, gets a little extra dirty in our conditions. So we're going to put this on. In fact, you know what? Let's put all the packaging down here. More packaging. More packaging. So we've got the filter. We've got a cup. I'm now going to open this. Nice little coffee cup. You know what? We'll give this away. We've got the flanges for the intake. We've got some metal work stuff, some clips. This is the turbo inlet pipe, which we'll add to the turbo. This is the actual inlet sort of cradle on which the inlet sits, which the filter sits. Now there are two filters that they have. One sits, which is more expensive, sits on top of the actual head casing, the tappet cover, the cam cover, and then you've got this one. We've chosen this because this is a more motorsport oriented one. The other one looks better. Okay, for a fact, I can tell you the other one looks better. This sits in the front, very close to where the standard. Sorry about that if you're wearing headphones. This sits in the front, very close to where the actual intake sits. It'll sit somewhat like this, I'm guessing, like this, and the inlet pipe comes through here. So this sits right in front, right behind the grill. We're also going to notch out the grill so we can get some sort of ram air stuff going on there. And then there is more plans for some more extreme stuff with the bonnet, which I won't really talk about now. What else? We've got more fittings and flanges and clips, and then of course we've got the blow-off valve. Now this is the main reason why I want to do this build. You know what I was going to actually do? I was going to buy a 1 liter TSI, just put a blow-off valve and forget about it. Then I went into a bit of Alice in Wonderland wormhole thing, which you always do when you tune a car. Oh wow, we've got stickers. I love stickers. I'm a little child, okay? This goes here. It goes home with me, so it doesn't get stolen. Blow-off valve. Let's open this up. But we're a little gentle with it and careful with it. There we go. Nice black billet aluminum. Ooh. Stu noises are coming. Okay, so we've unboxed all of this. Time to install it. What we'll do, right, is we will first put the plugs and the intake. The plugs don't make a big difference in terms of horsepower. You've seen the standard figure, the dyno figure. We'll play that clip again and we'll put the chart up again. What we'll do is we'll install the plugs and the intake, and then we'll do another dyno run before and after to see what difference it makes in terms of the actual horsepower figure. Now luckily the room inside here is ambient to a certain degree, so weather-wise, temperature-wise is all taken care of, so there's no real variation there. But apart from that, it'll be interesting to see what actual gains you get when you install this. Fun fact, on all the cars I've owned, I've never had like a pod or conical filter. I've done replacement panel filters many times. For some reason, I've never done one of these. This is my first one. I'm waiting to see what this sounds like combined with the blow-off valve. If you've ever seen Mighty Car Mods, they do something called flanking. It's the art of repurposing an item like this near your crotch, and you know what it means. We're not going to do that today. What we are, however, going to do is install the forge intake. This is one part of the intake. There are three parts. The actual holder, the actual intake, which is right here, and this is of course the intake pipe. Now, as I mentioned, this is girthy. That is because you need flow, because we're doing more stuff later. You need nice thick intake flow, airflow into the engine to actually ensure that you're making enough horsepower. More air into the engine normally is a good thing. You don't need everything in. You don't need to be open intake like old cars used to be back in the day. But this is something that they've engineered for this engine. Forge, by the way, they were super cool with their emails and stuff. Very prompt. Company based out of UK, and coincidentally N1 is their Indian distributor, one of the Indian distributors. So it was very easy to get this stuff into the country. But they make some really high quality stuff. So I always wanted to put some really good intakes on the car. Normally we do like pipe stuff and all, but this is some really high-end stuff. So let's see what horsepower this makes, because if this makes no horsepower, it's not really cheap. So if this makes no horsepower, then it's kind of pointless, but I think it will make a little bit of horsepower, and the butt dyno will like it because of course an intake does sound nicer. So let's see what it does. Okay, I know this is just an intake, but it looks like a piece of jewelry in the car. And I am smiling like a kid because I am a kid in a candy store. This is candy. Uh, I don't know if I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. I've never had a pod filter in my life. First time having a pod filter. Look at this. Look at the size of the pipe. This thing is going to be so nice sounding. And I know everybody talks about exhaust note, but intake note is old school, right? We used to run open intakes on Fiat. I still do sometimes. This thing is going to sound absolutely awesome. In fact, now's the perfect time to actually hear how it sounds. So let's start it up. Oh, I'm gonna just cover my crotch. Cover my crotch. Wow. I've had panel filters in the past. None of them sound like this. And no open filter sounds like this either. Or open intake on old cars. Modern cars are so cool sometimes. So, okay. Time to put this on the dyno and see what sort of horsepower difference it makes. Because this is important. If you only do this and nothing else, like we've done, and plugs, which every car should have, what's the difference it makes? Important question. Okay, so big moment, right? We put an intake on the car, sorry. A lot of people say nothing happens with an intake. People say you get power with an intake. Let's measure it straight up. Nothing else has been changed. Just put the intake on. We got 14.62 horsepower last time around. Let's see if we've gained any. Cool, simple. Dyno run. Chalo. This is a real measure of performance now. Okay, so we've made the original figure was 114.62. We've just made 115.94, right? So you've got about 1.3 horsepower, which frankly for 35 grand is not a lot of horsepower, but it sounds better. And of course, you don't do only intake, you do a little bit of tuning to it to have the just to tell the ECU that you put an intake on it, which means a little more power, a little more boost, etc. But for this exercise, when you do nothing else at all and only this, gains are very obvious. 35 grand race, I'll tell you the exact price. It's on the N1 Racing website, and you get 1 point something horsepower, 1.32 horsepower, exactly 1.32 horsepower. So not a lot of gains. So technically, when my dad told me for years that intakes don't give you a lot of gains, he was right. But big but, and honestly, man but. That sounds wrong. It sounds cool. So that's a trade-off. As simple as that. Interesting. Right. Now, the whole purpose of this whole build, blow-off valve. We made noises. Now we make stu stu noises. Blowoff valve has finally been installed. The whole point of this build was this. It's finally been done. So let's start the car. Yes! All right, intake side's done, right? Intake's in. You can earlier you could listen to the negative pressure on the intake when you let off the gas. Now you can't because that's overpowering it as it's supposed to. So this is the end of the second video, okay? We're not going to do exhaust in this. The exhaust is the next one because car has to go to Automech, who have been doing my exhausts for the last 20 years since I started driving, and then much more for my dad's cars and all the rally cars that we had before that. So, okay, maybe I'm not coming out as excited, but trust me, inside me, the child inside me is like jumping to drive this car, okay? So we're going to put some shots of driving about here. Not bad at all. I would have loved it to be louder, obviously, but I think when the new turbo goes on, it will get a little bit louder. My God, the lights stayed in my eye. Right, so not bad at all. Let's see if we can fidget around with it a little bit when the new turbo goes on, and maybe put a different spring and see if it gets a little bit more annoying. But I believe outside, I'm guessing so, it'll be much louder because obviously inside, even with the windows down, it's a little muffled. Alright, chalo. End of the video. As we said, jumping back to the garage. We'll give you the outro then. And obviously, as you can see, this part of the video, the last part, is recorded in the day, although my clothes are the same and my watch is the same, because we had a little bit of an issue with the install of the blow-off valve yesterday. And stupid me did not open the manual and read the instructions. So we came back today and we finished it. It was literally a 10-minute job, which we struggled and scratched our heads for about 15 minutes. So read instructions, men. I know men, all of us don't like to read it, but read instructions. All right, signing off. UDDSpec, hashtag UDDSpec, part 2 comes to a wrap now. Rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka.